I am a lustful assassin. When I was assassinating the sick young master, he was taking a bath. I stared blankly, my nosebleed dripping straight onto the young master's pectoral muscles. Until the organization sent me a message urging me to run away quickly. The young master you assassinated is the biggest gangster in Country A. If you don't run fast, you will lose your life. I looked at the beautiful young man buried in my chest, whining and asking for a kiss. Gangster boss? Him. I am a lustful assassin. Having just graduated from the Assassin Academy, my first mission was to assassinate a sickly young master. That night, I sneaked into the villa. At that time, the young master was taking a bath. I clung to the ceiling. Logically, I just needed to jump down. The white knife stabbed in, the red knife pulled out, and that would be it. But, in the bathtub, the young master's skin was sparkling with water, smooth as jade, like the finest goat fat. That face was even more shockingly beautiful. I swallowed my saliva, my nose started to tingle. Something dripped down. Slap. A sound, a red streak fell onto the young master's white chest muscles. He stiffened and raised his head. And then our eyes met. I stiffened even more. Our eyes met. His beauty was like a fatal blow. My face was red and the nosebleeds flowed even more violently. How could a person be this beautiful? Before he could utter a cry of surprise, I jumped down and covered his mouth. The feeling under my palm was soft and smooth and my throat was dry. I pulled out a small knife and held it to his chest, softly threatening, "Don't make a sound." His frightened eyes were like a young deer, staring at me wetly. I swallowed hard, my throat rolling. Suddenly, the butler's voice came from outside the bathroom, getting closer and closer, then the sound of the doorknob turning. "Young master, I just heard a loud noise, are you okay?" I gritted my teeth, calculating how to take both of us down in a flash if we were discovered. But the next second the door opened. I was pressed down into the bathtub by the young master. His strength was unexpectedly great and I even accidentally drank a mouthful of water. I, the one holding the knife to his chest, was a little stunned. I only heard the young master's gentle voice ring out, saying to the butler, "It's okay, I just accidentally slipped a bit, you go out first." I was even more bewildered. I was even a little dizzy, because my face kept rubbing against his firm, warm chest muscles. The feeling was really amazing. I only felt my nose bleed even more violently. Dying under the peonies, becoming a ghost is also elegant. Under the water, I couldn't help but stick out my tongue. The young master stiffened. The sound of the butler's footsteps gradually faded away. He lifted me up like a wet chicken. The tip of my knife was still pressed against his body. The atmosphere became strange. The young master was the first to speak. His long eyelashes like butterfly wings trembled slightly, his voice soft as he asked, "Did my brother send you to kill me?" I embarrassedly wiped the blood from my nose and nodded. Ever since the old master of the Su family became seriously ill, the inheritance fell into the hands of the eldest young master Su Feng and the youngest young master Su Ling. Afterwards, the youngest young master Su Ling somehow got into a car accident and became a sickly and weak person. But his brother still felt that it was not enough, so he hired me to kill him. The competition in the wealthy family has always been so cruel. Su Ling's eyes were red. He grabbed the hem of my clothes and asked, "Mr. Assassin, can you not kill me? I don't want to die yet." For the second time I was stunned by him. He looked at my infatuated expression as if he had made up his mind and tremblingly approached. My lips suddenly felt a soft touch. He held my hand, his voice trembling. "I can do whatever you want." My knife fell to the ground. Damn it. Was he using this trick to test the cadres? Beauty makes people go astray. I failed the test. I let the organization down. I carried the young master who had just finished bathing and put him on the wheelchair. Surprisingly, even though Su Ling had an accident that left him with no strength in his legs, he was still very tall and his body was extremely well proportioned. I only glanced at him. Broad shoulders, slim waist, 8-pack abs. I quickly looked away. The young master obediently let me arrange things and even ordered the butler outside to leave. After changing clothes in Su Ling's room, the hem of my shirt was grabbed by him. He lowered his eyes and said softly, "Mr. Assassin, can you stay with me? I'm afraid of the dark." My throat choked up and I refused. "Young master, I came to kill people, not to coax children." But the young master acted spoiled, staring at me with wet eyes. Damn it. I was so enchanted that I was dizzy, my head was spinning and I lay down next to him. Su Ling's fluffy head was still rubbing against my chest. You killer, do you know? I didn't have a mother since I was little. I swallowed my saliva, clutching the bedsheet tightly, my face flushed. By the time I put him to sleep, a large patch of wetness had formed on my chest. Not only did I not kill anyone, I also became the assassination target's personal mother. My mood was extremely complicated. When the organization asked about the progress of the assassination mission, I was lying on the young master's bed. His head was resting on my chest, his eyes staring at me. Su Ling hugged my waist, his voice hoarse. Mr. Assassin, thank you for not killing me. In return, you can do whatever you want to me. When he said this, a flash of ferocity flashed through his eyes. I was stunned. My assassin instinct told me that this person was very dangerous. But the next second, I only saw Su Ling's innocent, pure face and his wet eyes. I relaxed. It must have been an illusion, he was just a sick young master. I was so fascinated that I was in a daze and stammered, "Kiss me." The young master was very obedient. He kissed from his chest to his throat, then his lips. I was kissed until my whole body went limp and blood flowed from my nose like a stream. That face, it was really too much of a violation. Due to my loyalty to the organization and a little guilt, the mission to assassinate the young master might have to be postponed indefinitely. I had no choice but to accept a new mission, to get information about the latest shipment from the Black Tiger Gang boss. Rumor has it that the Black Tiger Gang boss is ruthless and has power that spans the entire country. Both the Black and White gangs respect him. During their gathering, I disguised myself as a waiter and sneaked into the boss's private room. The process of joining was surprisingly smooth. However, I was not satisfied with this waiter outfit. It was too revealing. I expressionlessly pulled at the almost transparent shirt, with cat ears on my head and a cat tail on my butt. I heard that this was a request from the Black Tiger Gang boss. What kind of perverted hobby is this? I put on a professional smile and knocked on the private room door. The room wasn't as chaotic as I'd imagined. There were only a few people in black suits sitting around discussing something. Beside them, a masked man lazily leaned against the corner of the sofa, his long legs crossed, a glass of wine in his hand, listening indifferently. Occasionally he would interject a sentence, his voice low and charming. This person was definitely the boss. For some reason I felt that he was somewhat familiar. I withdrew my gaze, picked up the wine bottle, poured each glass and listened to their conversation. Is that shipment still safe? Absolutely safe, rest assured. Even if you dig up my great-grandfather's grave, that shipment wouldn't be able to be found. What a terrible comparison. Boss, what do you think? Should we move the shipment elsewhere? I heard that the Qinglong gang has been targeting this shipment recently. I poured wine in front of the masked man. He spoke. Okay, how about we move to? I almost held my breath, straining my ears to wait for an answer. Was it that easy to get the information? But the masked man didn't continue, only smiling slightly. The next second, a large hand was placed on my waist, his teasing voice rang out. Where did this stray cat come from? His body isn't bad. I stiffened. The people around me burst out laughing. So the boss likes this type? The masked man maliciously pulled my cat tail, his strong arms wrapped around me, pulling me into his embrace. His low voice was close to my ear, dragging out each word. I like it. I was forced to sit on his lap. His hand was still on my waist. Damn it. I wanted to kill someone. In order to maintain my professional ethics, I only pretended to be scared, my voice trembling. This gentleman, please let go, he chuckled. Embarrassed my head. I restrained the urge to knock him down, continuing to pretend to be a good guy. Sir, I'm not selling myself. Shoo. The masked man pinched my chin. Wildcat, if you keep seducing me like this, I'll kiss you in front of everyone. I trembled. Out of anger. His subordinates started to laugh and cheer again. The masked man waved his hand and everyone retreated on their own. In the private room, only I and this masked pervert were left. I cursed silently in my heart. Right now, besides getting information, the more important thing was how to escape from the hands of this perverted boss. He tied my hands behind my back, forcing me to stick out my chest. The almost transparent black shirt revealed everything. His hot breath blew on my chest, his voice hoarse. Wildcat, has anyone touched this place before? I swallowed my saliva, continuing to pretend to be scared. No, fooling people. He chuckled softly as if teasing. It's already swollen. My face was red. Damn it. It was because the young master kissed me yesterday. Before I could explain, I felt a wet sensation again. He just like that through my clothes. Half an hour later, I was released, my clothes disheveled. Before I left, the masked man's soft laughter rang out from behind me. The wild cat's tail is really wagging beautifully. I was so angry that my face turned red. I gritted my teeth and endured it, and went into the changing room to tear off the clothes. My chest was swollen. The Black Tiger Gang boss was truly a pervert. Thinking about having to approach him in the future to get information, I just wanted to go back and stab myself. In the middle of the night, as usual, I sneaked into the young master's house. He seemed to have been waiting for a long time. Seeing me, he was happy, his voice soft. "Brother assassin, you finally came." Looking at that lovely and beautiful face, my mood eased a lot. Su Ling wrapped his arms around me, his furry head rubbing against my chest. He wanted to act spoiled and ask for a kiss. I always indulged him before, but today I refused him. There was no other way. He was tortured too much by that pervert during the day, now just rubbing against my shirt was painful. Being rejected, Su Ling lowered his eyes, his beautiful face full of loss, his beautiful eyes staring at me without blinking. How could I bear that gaze? My heart softened. I spoke, "Just a minute," gently. His eyes lit up, revealing an innocent and lovely smile. "Brother assassin, you are so good." It was just that. Before the kiss, he stopped, tilted his head curiously and asked, "Why is this place swollen?" I felt guilty, turned my face away and didn't look at him. The fabric of the shirt is too hard, it rubbed. At the same time, in my heart, I slashed that masked pervert a few dozen more times. The next night, same private room, same group of people. But I was given an even more revealing outfit. Unwillingly asked the manager, "Do I have to wear this?" He nodded, his tone not allowing for negotiation. "Wear it, it's the boss's request inside." Humph. Pervert. I forced a smile, agreeing. Luckily, when I got inside, they were discussing the shipment again. Like last time, I poured wine one by one. When I got in front of the masked man, the location of the shipment was about to be revealed. I strained my ears, listening nervously. I only heard the Black Tiger Gang boss chuckle, whistling. "This time it's a bunny, even cuter." Damn it. Are you kidding me? My face darkened. I almost threw the wine bottle at his head. Next, he chased all his subordinates away. It was the same familiar scene of teasing a good guy. I was trapped in his arms again, except this time he didn't tie my hands. His low voice was close to my ear. "The bunny is also very cute today." "You're so cute." I secretly clenched my fist. I wanted to hit someone. The masked man took a sip of wine, squeezed my neck and pressed me close. The soft feeling on my lips made me stunned. My eyes opened wide, facing the eyes behind the mask of the boss. For some reason, that familiar feeling became more and more intense. He closed his eyes and a little wine slowly passed through. I was forced to swallow it, but I was possessed to raise my hand and touch the edge of his mask. "Just flip it up." Under the mask, he opened his eyes. "Naughty little rabbit." He grabbed my wrist tightly, his words filled with threats. "If little rabbit doesn't listen, he will be..." That night, my butt took the brunt of the beating. When I returned to the young master's place, I limped. Su Ling asked worriedly, "Mr. Assassin, what's wrong with you?" I curled my lips into a forced smile. It was nothing. It was just that a pervert had hit my butt dozens of times. It hurt so much that I gritted my teeth. The young master was very worried and insisted on applying medicine to me. My butt was cool, the medicine was applied, and then there was a stream of warm air. I turned my head and saw Su Ling gently blowing on it. I trembled. "What are you doing?" He tilted his head and smiled innocently. "Blow on my wound, assassin." I pushed his head away and struggled. "Don't." The young master was unhappy. His eyes were red. "You have someone outside, right?" In my bewildered gaze, he hugged me and said aggrievedly, "Mr. Assassin, I know you must have someone outside. Otherwise you wouldn't even let me blow on the wound. My father and brother didn't like me since I was little. Now you hate me too. What's the point of me living?" He said as if he was about to cry. How could I bear to see a beauty crying, so I had to coax her dryly. In the end, not only was my butt swollen, but my chest was also swollen. It was just that the strange sense of familiarity in my heart became clearer and clearer. Because I hadn't completed the mission for too long, I was called back by the organization. Codename 011, the employer wants to see you. I followed my colleague to meet the client. Su Feng, Su Ling's half-brother. His eyebrows and eyes were similar to Su Ling, but unlike the pure appearance of the young master, his face looked much more ferocious. Su Feng looked at me from head to toe. I felt like I was being probed by a poisonous snake. My back turned cold. You are 011, I remember telling you to kill my younger brother. How come he is still alive? I lowered my head, my face unchanged. Your younger brother's house has a strict security system. You also know, since the last car accident, the Su family has arranged a top-notch security team for him. Actually, it was a lie. I was an excellent student who graduated from the Assassin Academy. That security system was child's play to me. Getting in and out was as easy as flipping your hand. Really? Su Feng slowly approached me. Too close, I took a step back, but he wrapped his arms around my waist. His large hand was hot. I frowned. About to open my mouth, I heard him chuckle. Actually, the moment I met you I thought it would be a waste for you to be an assassin. Why don't you come and keep me company? His breath blew on my ear. A chill rose up. I jerked out of his hand, widening the distance. Sir, please respect yourself. His eyes were still fixed on me. From above my head came a cold snort. In a week, if the assassination is still not successful, the next time we meet will be on my bed. When that time comes, don't blame me for not knowing how to cherish women. I restrained the urge to stab him on the spot. It will be completed within a week. But I had already made a calculation in my heart. It seemed that I could only let the young master fake his death. In the middle of the night, when I sneaked into Su Ling's room, he was sleeping soundly. I looked at his harmless face, pulled out a knife and tried to stab him hard. But I stopped a few centimeters from his skin. The young master didn't know anything, sleeping soundly. Without any defenses, not like I was pretending. I put away my last bit of doubt and caution, put away the knife and shook him awake. Su Ling's eyes were still blurry, and when he saw me he rushed over like a child seeing candy. Brother assassin, you're back. I stroked his head and asked softly, Young master, do you want to live? He looked at me blankly, thinking of something, and tilted his head to ask, Brother assassin, do you want me to live? I caressed his face, my throat choking. I want to. At least, I had never met anyone with a face that suited my taste like the young master. He smiled. Okay then. I told him the plan to fake his death. That night, he buried his head in my chest and asked, I'm not a young master anymore, I have nowhere to go, what should I do? I lifted his face up. I'll take care of you. He gradually revealed a strange expression, hugging me and rubbing. Brother killer, you're the best, I like you so much. My face turned red. That night my chest swelled up again. The next day the young master of the Su family's villa caught fire. That day the housekeeper happened to take leave to go home. But Su Ling, the young master of the Su family, was not rescued. When the fire was put out, only a charred skeleton was found that was unrecognizable. At Su Ling's funeral, the sound of wailing and lamentation rang out. Even Su Feng squeezed out a few crocodile tears, stroking the tombstone, his expression as if in extreme pain. My little brother, why did you leave so early? Remember to live well down there. I will always remember you. What a terrible performance. I was lost in the crowd and almost burst out laughing. Afterwards, Su Feng got his wish and took over the entire inheritance of the Su family. Old Master Su heard that his youngest son had passed away and his illness worsened. He also passed away soon after. The Su family fell into a period of chaos when they adjusted their personnel. In the small shabby house I bought, Su Ling was buried in my chest, his eyes red. I have nothing left, now I only have you, the assassin. I hoarsely stroked his soft hair. It's okay, I will always be by your side, young master. Times were peaceful, everything was the same. Except that the second mission was still difficult. I was sure that the Black Tiger Gang leader was a pervert. The third time he pulled me into his arms and fed me wine mouth to mouth, I was numb. The masked man still chuckled, playing with his big tail behind my pants. We meet again, this time it's a little fox. Damn it. As an excellent student of the Assassin Academy, for the first time I felt that this mission was not necessary. I sat on his lap, being touched everywhere by him, eating tofu. I gritted my teeth, enduring until my whole body turned red. Just you wait, one day I will kill this pervert. My body was burning when a low voice rang in my ear. Did the Azure Dragon Gang send you here, little fox? How did it get exposed? I was startled for a second, reacted quickly and wanted to run, but he pressed me down on the sofa. The strength was so great that I couldn't move. A knife was pressed against my neck. "Little fox, tell me, what do you want from me?" I gritted my teeth. "I won't say." The voice above me still leisurely teased, "You're tough." The knife pressed closer. The cold air mixed with killing intent rushed over. If he used a little more force, the knife would pierce my artery. I asked unwillingly, "Let me die clearly, how did you know?" But the masked man just chuckled. "Maybe because you're too cute." The knife slid from my neck to my throat. Then he cut my shirt. When it reached the dangerous spot, I couldn't bear it anymore. "If you want to kill, then kill. If you want to slash, then slash. Just do it to your heart's content, don't joke with me." In my heart, the last image that appeared was the young master's face. What a pity. I had said I would protect him well. In this profession, it is indeed not easy to make promises. The masked man patted my face. A hot kiss fell on the back of my neck. I was startled. The next second, something unknown was stuffed into my mouth. His hoarse voice rang out, "Don't be in a hurry, I'll kill you slowly." When I woke up, my whole body was aching as if I had been beaten. I stood up and moved. The indescribable pain was still coming from the place where I couldn't speak. There was a piece of paper on the hotel bedside table. It had the location of the hidden shipment written on it. Next to it were 4 words, "Sleeping together reward." Damn it. My eyes were bloodshot and I punched the bed hard. That pervert, I would definitely kill him. When I dragged my crippled body back to the small house, the young master was indeed crying in grievance again. "Brother assassin, you didn't come back all night again, I was so worried." The more he cried, the more violent his movements became. In the end, there was no place left untouched in my chest. I looked at the ceiling and sighed. The young master I raised, I had to coax him. When I brought the shipment information back to the organization, my superior looked at me with admiration. 011, the mission was completed well. The customer is very satisfied, as expected of an outstanding student of the Assassin Academy. Humph. Done well. Use your breasts and butt to trade. My superiors gave me a week off. They told me to take good care of my injuries. They also asked if I had injured my legs or chest during the mission and why my gait was so strange. I was miserable but couldn't say anything. But being on leave was good anyway. I found the location of the Qinglong gang's shipment, carried a bag of explosives and rushed into the warehouse. The warehouse exploded and I leisurely left in the blazing fire. My anger was released. "You pervert, you dare to provoke me, I'll blow up your goods too." For the remaining days off, I stayed home living a world of two with the young master. Recently, the young master started learning to cook. He enthusiastically made the dishes I liked. He even warmed my bed at night. It was like I had a little wife. A beautiful little wife. Living a few days without having to lick the blood on the tip of a knife, I felt a little bit at peace. Tonight, the young master was burying himself in my chest, acting spoiled and asking for a kiss. I was a little embarrassed, half pushing and half giving in. Until I received an urgent message from the organization. 011, quickly find a place to hide. We just discovered that the young master you assassinated is the boss of the Black Tiger gang. Su Ling is not really dead, I don't know how he faked his death. Now he has started his revenge, the Su family has collapsed, Su Feng's brother is also dead, the next one is probably you, if you don't run you will lose your life. I was startled, looking at the beautiful young man who was buried in my chest, whining and asking for a kiss. Su Ling noticed that I was stiff, raised his head and smiled at me. That smile, how innocent, how adorable. The boss of the Black Tiger gang, him? But my mind started to spin automatically. A series of strangely familiar feelings and the inexplicable exposure. If Su Ling was the one wearing the mask, everything matched. I looked at the fluffy head buried in my chest. Damn it. Still eating. I was so angry that I slapped him. Su Ling? Black Tiger gang boss? Is it fun to play with me? Do you think I'm an idiot? The young master stiffened, holding the place he was hit. He still tried to act cute to fool me, his voice coquettish, rubbing against me. Killer brother, it hurts. Looking at that face still pretending to be innocent, I was so angry that I burst out laughing. I slapped him again. Pretend your head. Su Ling's obedient smile gradually disappeared. I pulled out a knife and held it to his neck. He didn't dodge or resist, just looking at me. I used force, cutting a bloody line. Su Ling lowered his head like a child who did something wrong, his eyelids trembling. Sorry, I just like killer brother too much. Looking at that expression, I couldn't bear to do it. The knife fell again. I pointed at the door, my voice trembling. Go away. Damn it. In the end, I was tricked by a kid again. He felt wronged and hugged me. I'm not going. I kicked him, he groaned but still didn't let go. Obviously I knew Su Ling was pretending, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't bear to hit him, I couldn't bear to kill him. In the end, I pushed him away. If you don't go, then I'll go. It was so frustrating. For the next month, I didn't see Su Ling. I just focused on doing my tasks. Occasionally, I dragged my tired body home, but no longer had the teenager rushing out to greet me. There was no longer any hot meal. At night, when I slept, I had never seen such a big bed. It was like something was missing. Closing my eyes, I saw his fluffy head. And that innocent and adorable face. I slapped myself. What was I thinking? That was a pervert. He looked like a white rice dumpling but was black inside. Finally, the organization assigned a new mission. Assassinate the boss of the Black Tiger Gang. I sharpened my knife, coldly accepted the mission, and sneaked into the familiar nightclub again. The whole process went surprisingly smoothly. It was as if someone had intentionally opened a back door for me. Humph. I asked the manager what uniform I should wear this time. He awkwardly shook his head. The boss told you to wear whatever you want. Su Ling seemed to be reasonable. If he still gives me that pile of perverted things, I don't mind stabbing him a few more times. When I entered the private room, it was quiet inside. Only Su Ling was alone. This time he wasn't wearing a mask, holding a glass of wine, as if he was deliberately waiting for me. Same facial features but a completely different temperament. Su Ling in front of me was steady and mature, exuding a strong pressure. Once again I realized, the little boy who used to bury himself in my chest and act spoiled was actually pretending to tease me. He raised his glass of wine towards me, tilted his head. Brother Killer, are you here? I waved the knife in my hand. Yes, I'm here. Came to take his life. Seeing me coming, Su Ling didn't even try to dodge. He just looked at me with a burning gaze. My knife was pressed against his chest, his big hand was placed on my waist. You've lost weight. He touched my chest from my waist. I'm not losing weight here. His voice was low and cheerful, as if he didn't care about the knife being pressed against it. I warned softly, Dog, let go. Not only did Su Ling not let go, he hugged me even tighter. He skillfully buried his face in my chest. He didn't care that the knife was already partially embedded in his flesh. You killer, I miss you so much. My face turned red and I scolded him. Don't you want your life anymore? He rubbed his back. Yeah, I don't want it anymore. I laughed coldly and stabbed the knife straight in. It was just that my hand shook a bit. It was a million miles away from my heart. Su Ling's face turned pale and he hugged me without letting go. Is your anger over yet? Last time you stabbed me, it really hurt. I pulled out the knife and wiped it clean. He held his chest and fell onto the sofa. The door opened and a group of men in black rushed in. Several black guns were pointed at me. Boss, are you okay? A few people rushed past me, supported Su Ling and called an ambulance. Behind me, Su Ling's hoarse voice rang out. Let him go. The subordinates lowered their guns, slowly making way for me. I walked out arrogantly. I stabbed Su Ling once, but it wasn't fun. Even when he buried his head in my chest today, I unconsciously wanted to puff out my chest and offer myself up. I pursed my lips. Why didn't this pervert kiss me today? The assassination mission of Su Ling failed, but the client rewarded me with money. I was a little surprised. The organization conveyed his words. The client is very satisfied with sending Su Ling to the hospital. Oh. I expressionlessly accepted the large sum of money. Until a month later, another assassination mission of Su Ling was given to me. I licked my teeth, took the knife and left immediately, this time smoothly without meeting any bodyguards. It was as if someone had intentionally let me in. Hua Ling hugged me again. You killer, are you angry yet? Last time you stabbed me, it hurt a lot. I held the knife to him. Don't pretend. He looked up, our eyes met. My mind suddenly remembered the time when he was wearing a mask, forcing me to drink alcohol. Anger flared up, I picked up the wine bottle beside me and was about to smash it. But looking at his pale face, I put it down again. Hua Ling still rubbed at me. Last time in the hospital, the doctor was you, right? I recognized you right away, you killer. I sneered. I don't know what you're talking about. But my heart was pounding. I secretly went to the hospital to see him. Hua Ling was bandaged, looking obedient. When I went to visit him, he held my hand. What did he say? Doctor, is my wound almost healed? I put on my mask and nodded. He asked again, then tell me, is he angry yet? At that time I shook his hand away and didn't answer. This time I didn't draw blood, I just punched Hua Ling once. But the client rewarded me again. He told me to complete the mission excellently. Even though I was stupid, I understood. When I received the third mission to assassinate Su Ling, I ignored it. I went home to sleep. In the middle of the night, a figure sneaked into my room. I blinked, not moving. The hem of my shirt was pulled up, a shaggy head rubbing against me. My chest ached. I opened my eyes. Su Ling, what are you doing? He felt aggrieved. I waited for you all night, why didn't you come kill me? With that face, Su Ling used a beauty trick again. My throat was dry, I looked away. Su Ling's eyes were red and he started acting. Looking at him pitifully, I was no longer angry. You made up your own story, I'm too lazy to play with you. Seeing that I was paying attention, he started to coax again. Mr. Assassin, do you believe in love at first sight? I swallowed. Of course I did. After all, I was stuck because of that face. Su Ling acted coquettishly and shamelessly asked, then can I kiss you? I turned away, my face burning. What are you asking? His eyes lit up, he leaned down and buried his face in my chest.